Edward Muybridge, born April 9th, 1830 and died May 8th, 1904, is not just one of the most important people in film and animation, but is the most important. My reasoning behind this? Well, he is the man who made the first moving picture, after all. Edward had always been a photographer as soon as he could get his hands on a camera. As a young man, he moved from England to America to pursue photography, but wasn't recognized until later on. Though, when Edward was commissioned by Leland Stanford to take a picture of his horse while on the trot, to prove whether or not all 4 legs go up at some point during the run, that's when he was about to discover something unbelievable. When people saw these pictures that he had taken of the horse, they didn't believe that the horse's legs could move in that position. So, he invented a machine, one called a zooprastoscope. This is a lantern that when turned on will produce images in a rapid fashion onto the screen, from photographs printed on a rotating disc. This ended up making an illusion where it looked as if the pictures were moving. This wowed audiences, as this was the first moving picture ever produced. When Edward figured out he could do this, he quickly went to go test it on other animals, soon humans, including nude ones. Jeez. But while some of it might have been gross, it was important to the development of animation, as it gave future animators a reference of real movement before we could do so ourselves from looking online or recording ourselves. Now, I want to show a few examples of his work. The first example I have of his work is when he took several pictures of an athlete using a pickaxe. In this video, we see how the model is nude, helping the viewer get a better view of his silhouette. This helps in being able to better see his movement and how his legs, arm, torso, really how his entire body moves during the motion. Edward has also taken pictures of his model at different angles. This helps us know how he would look swinging his pickaxe from the front and the back, teaching us how the body moves from both angles. This could help me with my animation, as it allows me to get a clear view of the man and how he contorts his body with a pickaxe in hand, as well as lets me view the different perspectives I can use for my work. My second example is photos Edward took of an ostrich running. In the video, we are presented with a running ostrich, from both the usual side view and then, interestingly enough, footage of the ostrich running backwards, from a back view. This lets us see how the ostrich's legs work in both a forward and backwards motion, allowing for more understanding of how their legs work and move as they trot. This is useful for animators as it gives a great reference to the behaviors of an ostrich, whether or not they are animating one or want to animate something similar to it. One last example of Edward's work is part of his pictures taken of women, where in this footage we see how these women end up picking up the fabric that is dragging behind them. This allows us to learn how the fabric interacts with people once dragged, lifted, moved, etc., which can be something that's a struggle to animate. This can help animators such as myself, as fabric can be complicated to animate sometimes due to weight and texture of it, so it's useful to see how it behaves as a reference. In the end, Edward Muybridge offered a lot to the animation and film industry with his video references, which are still talked about and viewed today as something important to the history of film itself. A man who, without his contributions, wouldn't have changed the world the way he did. One thing I enjoyed while making this video essay is how easy it was to find all the references I needed, and figuring out what to talk about when it came to them wasn't that hard either. Though, for something I had trouble with doing and disliked, was really finding a lot about Edward's history, as even with the websites I use, there wasn't that much. I think next time I might try to look a bit harder or ask for some more resources I can use.